The Brooklyn Nets are in the news, baby. James Harden forces his hand, forces his way out of Houston. And he's been saying since before the season started, get me to Brooklyn. He wants to play with his buddies. He wants to play with Kevin Durant. And he wants to play with Kyrie. All right, well, maybe he's not going to get to play with Kyrie Irving right away. Or potentially ever. But we'll get to that. And as you know, you watched yesterday, we got to Kyrie Irving and all the nonsense that he is currently doing or not doing. But today is not about that. Today is about James Harden getting moved in a blockbuster 4-team trade from the Rockets to the Nets involving the Pacers, involving the Cavaliers, Caris LeVert, Jared Allen, Victor Oladipo, lots of names on the move, but the ultimate story here, James Harden teaming up with Kevin Durant and potentially Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn to try to make a run through the Eastern Conference and to a championship. And that's where we start today on the Drives with Dave podcast, right here, found anywhere you find podcasts, as well as on the Dave Talk Sports YouTube channel. I am your host, Dave Ettinger, and you joined me on the way home from CBS Sports Radio headquarters, where it was wall-to-wall Nets talk, Brooklyn, Harden, Durant, Kyrie. That's all you're going to hear today, so let's get to it. All right. First, from the Nets' perspective. There's a lot of details to this trade, but the bottom line is you give up 3 future first-round picks. You give up Caris LeVert. You give up Jared Allen. You give up Kurucs and a couple other bench guys. Fine. And you get James Harden. That's literally all the Nets got in this deal is James Harden. Under contract past this year, actually all 3 of these guys are Kyrie, Durant, and Harden. But you are mortgaging the future, that's a fact, by making this deal. You're emptying out the picks and some of your young talent, and you are taking a big chunk out of your depth. And this move reminds me of the Miami Heat coming together with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. Now, very, very different players and personalities, obviously, because everyone there in Miami bought in. You're going to hear that a lot today and this season, are guys buying into what they're selling in Brooklyn. They did in Miami, and that's why they went to 4 straight finals, and won 2 championships. So, it's similar in that you cut into the depth. You get rid of Caris LeVert, Jared Allen, these other guys. You already lost Spencer Dinwiddie to an injury, torn ACL. And now you're asking these 3 guys, Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, to be on virtually every night and give you 20, 25, 30, 35 every single night. Is it possible? Of course. Offensively, there are about 3 of the most talented guys on the planet with a basketball. People want to talk about fit and how they're going to share the ball. Please, in today's NBA, nobody plays defense, and you just score as many points as you can. So the fact that they're not sure how they're going to share the ball, that's a narrative that is old and tired and honestly lazy. I don't care about that. The problem with today's NBA is the personalities. It's, okay, everybody's friends, right? These 3 guys are buddies, and that's why they want to play together. Okay, I get that. But does that mean it's going to work? And that's ultimately what it's about. And I actually think that the Nets made this move because they're thinking that Kyrie is not coming back. Not to add to Kyrie and Durant. They're replacing Kyrie for the rest of this year. And that's why I ultimately don't like this deal. Because I would rather have, if I know I'm not getting Kyrie Irving back, and that's a big if and a big leap, I know that. But if I'm not getting Kyrie Irving back for the rest of this season, I'd rather have Caris LeVert, Jared Allen, and the rest of the depth, and, by the way, all those picks that I had to give up, instead of just James Harden. I know, just James Harden. I'm sorry, he's not as valuable on a team that only has Kevin Durant and nobody else than all that depth that I just talked about. He's just not. I'm sorry. He's not. On top of the fact that he looks like he ate his former self, showing up late, just causing chaos, forcing his way out of Houston. Who wants to touch this guy with a 10-foot pole? Kyrie Irving and James Harden are my two least favorite players on the planet. This has become such an unlikable villain inside the NBA. I'm actually actively rooting for them not to win, just because it'll be more fun and entertaining that way. Not because I'm a Knicks fan, because I just think it's going to be fun to watch them implode. And there's no guarantee that this team is going to win a championship. I'm sorry. Now, lastly, I'll say, if all three of them are on the court and healthy and their minds are right, which are a lot of ifs, it's like a perfect storm of psychopaths, then yes, the Nets will win a championship, and it'll be glorious while they do it. There's way too many ifs and risks in that. And that's the bottom line today on the Dave Talk Sports YouTube channel and the Drives with Dave podcast, found anywhere you find podcasts. It's now 7:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got a late jump on today. Whew, James Harden to the Nets. Big time trade. How's it going to end? Only time will tell. Kyrie Irving, do you ever play basketball ever again? My money's on no.